Hi, welcome to Down to the Root. I'm your host, Bethanie Jean, and today I have a very special October-y guest for you. This is my new friend, Eileen Dietz. Hi, Eileen.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you guys can barely hear my voice. I've lost it a bit this week, but I'm so happy that you came in.
I'm happy to be
It's the perfect season. Happy Halloween.
And it's just amazing how Halloween, I read somewhere yesterday that Halloween is the biggest commercial holiday next to Christmas.
I would believe that.
And I asked people why it was so exciting. I was at a horror convention or something, and they said because it's the one day of the year you get to be someone else.
Yeah, I believe that. What's more fun than dressing up? So you have made an entire career in the horror film industry.
That is correct.
As well as just playing basically kooky parts, right? So I want to hear more about this. I know that you started acting very young, right?
It wasn't that young.
Not that young.
I was 18. I was 17, 18.
Okay. And were you a horror film enthusiast at that age? Or did you just fall into this horror film?
Not really. I really fell into it.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it really kind of just happened for me. Yeah, it kind of just happened for me. Because I know we're going to talk about The Exorcist, but I did a bunch of work before The Exorcist came along. So.
And a bunch after.
Yeah.
I looked at your IMDb. You've done a lot of work, and it's all kind of in this same horror film and kind of dark, scary stuff, yeah? Primarily?
Yeah. Not aging myself, but I am. But in the 70s, I shot a Happy Days, I shot a Barnaby Jones, I shot Helter Skelter. And Helter Skelter, which all came after The Exorcist, it all happened when I came out here from New York, which is where I grew up and where we shot The Exorcist. So my first project out here was actually Planet of the Apes with the TV show with Roddy McDowell. And when I did Helter Skelter, that's what really kind of started me on this horror thriller thing.
Now, were you raised in a religious home?
No, I was raised an atheist.
In an atheist home. So you didn't receive any pushback or judgment for taking on these dark roles?
Nope, just envy and jealousy.
Yeah. I love it. That's
I
awesome.
started getting blamed when anything happened. Like if I swear to you, this is true. If I walked into an office and a picture fell down or something like
Eileen's here.
It was all, she's here, you know. And
oh, I love that. That's so funny. So you played Pazuzu. Am I saying it right?
You were absolutely saying
Pazuzu.
it right. Also known as Captain Howdy.
Or Captain Howdy, which is not only an ancient demon, but the main demon that possesses Reagan in the original Exorcist.
That is true. That is true. And at the beginning of the film, if you remember, Father Marin finds the head of a statue, and he doesn't know what it is. And that was Max von Sydow, who is just a dream to work with. And then we later find out that it is the head that belongs to Pazuzu.
I see. And this is a replica.
That is a replica of There's a scene in the movie where I'm on my knees and my arms are like this, and the straps are coming off my hands and looking at this demon. And a friend of mine in Colorado makes them for me. So I actually sell them.
Oh, well, there you go. Probably on your website, yeah?
Sorry?
Probably on your website.
I do not have a website. I had a website, and some kind of demon infiltrated it, and they took it down, and I've just never put it back up again. But if you go on, gosh, I've got like 4 Facebooks or something like that. I think on the Facebook fan page, you can find it, or you can always just Facebook me as Eileen Dietz. And I will tell you all about it.
Now, I want to talk about your book.
Okay.
Now, you wrote this book, and it's called Exorcising My Demons, right? What can fans expect if they pick up your book?
Well, number one, it's not a horror book per se, although it's not totally, but most of the book is about The Exorcist and what shooting on the set was like, and everybody knows about the real scary things. So I talk about really funny things, like how we shot the vomiting scene. See, besides Captain Howdy and Pazuzu, I was made up to look like Reagan, and I did most of the scenes that people remember The Exorcist for, which was the vomiting scene, the masturbation scene, the levitation scene, the death scene, and all of that. And so the book is about funny things that happened on the set, like shooting the masturbation scene. It's just a howl, you know. And I don't know if Billy Freakin's read my book, but he wouldn't like how he's portrayed.
He wouldn't.
But it's all true. But the whole beginning of the book is about, first of all, how this little silly, flat-chested, buck-toothed little girl from Queens, New York, found herself in the scariest movie of all time, with all the negativity around, and all the people say, "Oh, you're too little. You're not pretty enough. You're not sexy enough."
But you were beautiful. I've seen pictures. You were beautiful. I was actually.
Well, I don't know, beautiful, but I was interesting.
No, you were beautiful. I remember I glanced at your Instagram page and you had a photo of you, probably from, I'm assuming, the 70s. And I just remember thinking, why would they choose this adorable, doe-eyed little girl to play a frightening character,
acting.
a frightening demon?
It's acting. And so the whole first part of the book is how I became an actress. And the man who wrote it, and I spoke it, a guy named Dan Louvier, is an absolute genius. And those stories, they're sad. I had a Me Too incident back then. And I went to summer stock in Michigan, and the guy just wanted to be with me. And of course I said no. And the whole company of actors saw me. He was, opening my buttons, and I was just horrid. And they all saw me, and they didn't know what was going on. And so that didn't happen, and eventually he fired me.
Wow.
And I reported him to Actors Equity, but at that time,
just nothing was being taken
really
care of in
happened.
this department.
And it's in the past. And as Dan Louvier said, I was on the bus going home, and I looked at my hand, and I had my equity card. I was a professional actress, so something good came out of it. But it's not something I would totally, absolutely, bring up. I think every actress in New York and LA must have experiences they could talk about if they wanted to.
Yes, for sure. And I feel like in a lot of horror films, women are often sexualized and kind of victimized. Do you feel like there's anything that goes along with that on the set? Do you think that carries over?
It's not quite as true anymore, because
Thank goodness.
Women are producing films and they're writing films. And I know that the latest films to be coming out, that they're not necessarily truly victims like they were in Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Halloween and all those great films in the 80s. So I think that's really changed. But by the way, just going back to my book for a minute, there's also very, very funny things about how I became an actress. Like when we went to see Peter Pan at a Broadway show, and I thought I could jump down on the stage and be an actress, and I was 7.
Wow.
And then I thought, what if I miss and get hurt? So that's really funny. And then you go into the audition and how it happened and what I did, and meeting Dick Smith, the makeup guru, and going to his studio and all that kind of stuff. And the first part's, it's also about inspiration and for dreams. And like I said before, if you have a dream of what you want to be, you're not necessarily an actor. You could be a wardrobe mistress. You could be a caterer. You could open your own store and sell cosmetics. You could be a mom. Whatever it is you want to be, follow the dream and don't listen to anybody outside. Just follow the dream and it'll happen.
I love that, and I believe that.
Yeah, look at
I
you.
live by that. Yeah, I started out as a hairstylist.
But I don't know if this was your dream to be a host or what, but you're here doing what you love.
20 years of talking to people doing hair, I was just like, I should just do this. This is what I'm
I didn't know you were a hairdresser.
Yeah.
So did you grow up with that dream?
No. No, I wanted to be probably a fashion designer. I wanted to be in style.
Oh,
But the people is what I really
you still
wanted.
can.
Yeah, I mean, I am in style, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that other part of it is that, you know, you're never too old to follow your dream, unless you
couldn't
want to
agree
be an
more.
Olympic skier.
There's something to that. Well, okay, I want to talk to you specifically about how has been playing all of these really dark characters, especially like this
Captain
demon.
Howdy.
How has that affected you personally? Has it affected you in any way?
Years ago, I read a book. I think it was the one by Boleslavsky, which was 6 classes for an actor, or it was Stanislavski. It was one of the keys. And they were talking about theater, but it's the same thing. That don't ever go to theater to do a play in the costume that you're going to wear in the play. Go there in whatever you're going to wear, and then become the character when you put on whatever costume
So you take it
wear.
off.
And then when you leave the theater, be sure and take it off.
That's smart.
I mean, even if I'm doing an indie film, which thank God I've done so many of them, and you bring your own wardrobe a lot for indie films, I still never wear anything that I'm going to bring. And therefore, you leave the character where it belongs. You leave it on set or on stage, and then assume it when you get off the stage. And
great
even though I
advice.
was brought up an atheist, I still talk to the spirits or whatever and say, hey guys, this is just a movie, you know?
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, and particularly, particularly in The Exorcist, of course, nobody knew it was going to be The Exorcist. It was a horror film we were shooting.
Well, and from what I understand, there were 9 related mysterious deaths linked to the movie and the cast and crew. In that time, were you fearful at all? No? You think it's all pure
Yeah,
coincidence?
nobody was.
Nobody was.
Yeah.
So was the set actually kind of lighthearted?
The what?
Was the set more lighthearted than what we would have guessed?
Not really. It was kind of a tough set. Billy Fricken, the director, really kind of kept it really tough. And nobody was really having a lot of fun shooting it, as far as I know. I mean, the cast was close, but a lot of it was tough. Just because. And the shoot lasted 14 months, which is unreal, between pre-production and post-production, because Billy Fricken reshot just about everything in the movie. And often he would want to do a shot, and the cameraman would say it's not going to work, and they'd shoot it anyway. So we used to take bets on how long the film was going to last, and if we get through anybody's birthday. You know?
Were you all flabbergasted when it became like the hugest movie in that industry?
Yeah. But strange enough, on this film, as opposed to a lot of other films that I've worked on, the whole cast went their separate ways. And Jason Miller, who played Father Karras, he died really young. And Max von Sydow went back to Sweden. And, you know, everybody kind of went their own way. So we weren't a tight group of people. And so whatever anybody felt, I was amazed by it, and I was awed by it. And I did think for a little while, like, oh, Lord, look what I've created. That people are really this scared and
Yes.
this blown away for something that I did. And I hope everybody's okay.
Right.
You know,
Did that affect you at all? Just
Well,
knowing you had this sort of impact?
I mean, not viscerally. No, it didn't affect me at all. But I truly hoped everybody was all right, and I truly hoped that people understood it was a movie. But according to all the fans I meet at horror conventions, many of them didn't feel. Little kids went to see it, and back in the 70s or 80s, early 80s, kids weren't as sophisticated as they are now. So the movie really freaked them out.
Yeah.
And they thought there were monsters living under their bed. And one little boy, he said he was 5. And his uncle took him to the movie, and he couldn't tell anybody, and he thought there was a monster living under his bed for 5 years.
Yeah.
So I hope. I mean, I have friends now that have never seen it.
Yeah.
That they just say they're too scared.
Yeah, a lot of people were so
And I said, well,
frightened.
you've met me now, so turn on the lights.
And you're not scary.
Watch, I'm not scary.
I can vouch. She's
I'm
not
just here.
scary.
So it was an amazing film of its time. And I've just become very friendly with Michael Bellotti, who is the son of the screenwriter.
Oh.
And so we've talked about things and screenwriter versus director and how that works together and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, a lot of people call me a double when I wasn't. I was a principal actor on the movie. And if it was a double, I never would have shot the movie because I'd never have done extra work. And a double is an extra or a stunt double or whatever they want to call me. And
You were your own
wow,
character.
The Exorcist have totally changed my life. I'm so blessed. I've been to Europe 6 or 8 times with shows in Germany and Spain and all over the country, selling this stuff and mainly talking to fans. And it's kind of great because they really love to meet me.
Is there anything about your career that makes you feel like you might be misunderstood? Do you feel like you're misunderstood?
I'm sorry, anything about my career the way?
Makes you feel like maybe you're misunderstood in any way?
Nope. Not really. No, not really. Misunderstood in what way?
I mean, just portraying something as scary. Really, you're a light.
I mean, they think I'm
really you're a
scary in
sweetheart.
person?
I mean, I don't know. Just sometimes if people are portraying something very different than what they are, you're
people,
sweet and lighthearted.
Well, when you're in the public eye, people are always going to say things, and I'm very lucky. Most of the people, mainly on Facebook and stuff like that, they really like me.
You're very likable.
Sally feels that. They like me. They really like me. And I really like fans. When I was on General Hospital, and of course you didn't charge for autographs then, I'd sign autographs for anybody. And, like Elizabeth Warren of all people said she just took selfies with people for 4 hours. So I would sign anybody in General Hospital. The Exorcist totally changed my life, but General Hospital was such an amazing part to play. And she was in a mental hospital, of course, because she felt she was responsible for her best friend's death. And she decided she wasn't going to grow up because children didn't have to be responsible. And that was just a joy doing that show. And I did a lot of shows to support mental health and to support...
Really?
And I got a lot of letters from people, because I insisted they didn't do soap opera makeup on me, that, she's in a mental hospital. I just need some foundations, some stuff. And they said, oh, I just love you, because I can relate to you and, you make my life better. And that was wonderful, to have that kind of effect on people. It's just wonderful. And I enjoy that if I can bring something to to fans.
And fans can now see you pretty regularly at horror conventions. Is that right?
Yeah. I've done probably just about all of them, throughout the country. And again, I hear sometimes of people at conventions that can't be bothered and they don't have time or they complain. And I think we're blessed. I mean, what are we, like 1/100th of a 10th of people in the world that do what we do?
Yeah.
And you can go home from a weekend making $4,000 just being nice to people. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But if I have a choice of doing a convention or shooting a film, I'll shoot a film.
Yeah.
Because that's where my heart is.
And you have a film you're working on now or that just came out?
I have a couple of films that either just came out or coming out. Thank you for asking. I did a film called Itsy Bitsy, which, guess what? It's about a killer spider. And it's starring this wonderful little girl named Chloe Perrin, who plays the little girl in the film. And she's just delightful. And the movie's scary, particularly if you're scared of spiders, It really, really works. And she's doing a new film called Mary, with Gary. He won an Oscar for playing Churchill. It'll come in a second. Gary Oldman. And
Oh, yeah.
so that's coming out next month. So she has 2 films, and I promised her I'd mention them.
Wonderful.
She's 12 years old and lives in Dallas. And anybody sees it and lives in Dallas, Facebook me because they're doing a screening of it. It hasn't come out. It's coming out Halloween.
Wonderful.
So I did Itsy Bitsy that just came out. I did a film called The Ascent that's coming out next month, which actually is about exorcism, but we decided I wasn't going to play any of that stuff. I play a chain-smoking garage owner.
Oh, I
kind
love
of
it.
lady. So that's really
Got
fun.
to see this.
And another film I did that just came out called 100 Acres of Hell, which is really fun. And again, I play a victim. When I'm not playing monsters and scary people and stuff like that, I play victims. So it's the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
And that's kind
I
of,
kind of like that balance.
it's just, life's good. I'm going to Texas, actually, for 2 events. One in Austin, and I'm going to Colorado to shoot a film. And so life goes on. I mean, it's amazing. And, they always say when you get older, there's less work. Well,
Not
I'm
in
there.
your case.
I'm there to play that middle-aged horror queen.
I love it. I love it. Eileen, thank you so much for coming in today. In closing, where can people find you on social media?
Oh, I think the best way is to go on Facebook, of course, and it's under Eileen Dietz, and it happens to be the site, because I have a bunch of them, where I'm holding a picture of the demon. So Facebook is absolutely the best way.
Okay,
I
great.
try and do Instagram. I'm not very good at it.
Okay.
Or tweet.
Okay, you do
but
Twitter.
if you want to reach me and you want to know about Pazuzu, who's for sale, and this is for sale, and I even have a can of Captain Howdy's green pea soup.
Oh my gosh,
a lot of fun
that's
stuff.
hysterical.
So get in touch with me, but please don't chat with me on Facebook unless you're serious. I know it's a way to get to talk to me, but this demon will come after you, I promise.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Eileen, thank you so much. You can find Eileen, as she said, on Facebook, and she's also hitting up all the horror conventions. Thank you guys so much. You can catch this episode on EverTalk, the EverTalk app, as well as Roku. Thank you so much.
Thank you.